Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where we talk about movies. And this month, we're talking about Nicolas Cage. And this week, we're talking about...
Pig.
Yes, we're talking about Nicolas Cage's 2001 drama film that...
2021? I mean, we're not going that far back.
2021. We lost like a couple of years there, so I forget sometimes. But yeah, his 2021 drama film starring Nicolas Cage and...
Also the last installment of Rage Cage Month.
It is the last installment of Rage Cage Month, and I think this is a really good movie to go out on. Because I think this kind of full circles Nicolas Cage Month a little bit, you know?
I suppose.
Because at first we get him playing in Moonstruck, right? And he's this kind of romantic lead. He's not really the supporting... He's not really like the leading man in the film. Or he's not the lead of the film. That was Cher.
That was Cher.
You know, and then he propels himself to be, you know, an action star in the 90s. And then this Oscar-worthy star in the 90s. And then this franchise star in like the 2000s. And with Pig, it feels like this is back to his roots, Cage. This is Nicolas Cage being a thespian again.
Yes. And not saying too much in this film.
No, this is a really quiet film. It's really slow. There's not... Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. You did not like this film.
Not too much. I mean, it had a lot of heart, beautiful scenery, food galore, which I loved.
It's borderline food porn in sections of the film.
Yeah, it was just a little too quiet for me. It's like, I felt like we could have used more dialogue in the movie, and we don't really get that. Apart from, where's my pig?
I thought it was a wonderful film. I think its lack of dialogue works better for the film, because it's really incentivizing us to watch and feel what's going on instead of just hearing them talk, kind of thing. It's like we have to pay attention to what's happening.
Yeah, and I got that. It's just, it was a little slower paced for me, so it wasn't my bag.
I gotcha. I mean, is there anything in the movie that you like that stood out to you?
Well, I mean, of course I liked the opening scene where we see him out truffle hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I like the simplicity of that. And then I also love the complexity of once we know that he was this renowned chef and seeing him prepare the dinner with...
Alex Wolff's character?
I wanted to say...
The guy from the Naked Brothers band.
That and The Fault in Our Stars, but I was just like...
Also Hereditary.
That too, but I was just like...
Very good actor, by the way.
Oh yeah, I love Alex Wolff.
Okay, because I remember him and he was on that movie or that show in like the early 2000s, the Naked Brothers band or whatever.
Yeah. On Nickelodeon.
On Nickelodeon. I was like, oh, you're the kid that I remember from like elementary school. Oh, wait, you're like a real actor. I'm just surprised he didn't grow up to be a train wreck, because that's usually how those child stars end up, right?
Well, this is Nickelodeon, not Disney.
Oh, that's true.
The Disney stars are the ones that, you know, sometimes some things happen and it's just like, what happened?
Okay. Is that just like a thing with Disney stars? Where Disney stars of a certain era, they just end up being wrecked for life?
I mean, we see like the Demi Lovato stuff with the aliens and the ghosts.
Wait, what happened?
You gotta watch some of her interviews.
Okay. The last thing I heard about Demi Lovato was this girl I went to high school with was like, oh, I like Demi Lovato. I think she was still on like the Disney Channel or some shit. Well, what's this about aliens and ghosts now?
Yeah, there's been interviews where I think I don't know how many times she's relapsed because she's really into drugs and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But she's had a lot of relapse and done a lot of rehab. But there's just been these interviews where she's, you know, made contact with aliens and how she felt bad about ghosts, that no one pays attention to them, and she wanted to do like concerts for ghosts. It's just really bizarre stuff.
This isn't like the Dan Aykroyd thing, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, for people who don't know, Dan Aykroyd is a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but he's aware he's crazy, kind of thing. So it's like entertaining. Is she aware she's loony?
I don't even know if she's loony. I think she's just doing it to do it. Just to kind of, you know...
Is it like that rapper who said the earth was flat and just tried to get everybody to roll with it?
I think so. I think that's just more, hey, let me put my name out there. I mean, we saw her not too long ago in Eurovision. She's, what's her name in the movie?
Wait, is she the Russian broad in Eurovision?
No, she's Icelandic too, and she's supposed to be the one that is the singer for Iceland, but she's on the boat. Or she's on
when it explodes, that's right.
Kostia, or whatever her name is.
Okay.
She's the one that appears to Will Ferrell as a ghost, and she's trying to, like, warn him, they're gonna try to kill you.
Demi Lovato?
Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, dude, you're already too late. He already tried to kill me, and the elves killed him. But yeah, that's Demi Lovato. So, I don't know if it's for show, if it's... Oh, who knows?
But Alex Wolff definitely caught the good end of the child star bracket.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you do the comparison between Nickelodeon and Disney, it's like, it seems like more crazy things happen on the Disney end than it does the Nickelodeon end.
It feels like the Nickelodeon stars, they don't... I guess because it's not like a machine, they're good for X number of years, and then they just kind of... Alright, you're like 15 or 16, you're kind of like done in our bracket, go off and do something else, where... Disney, it's like, oh, you're 15 or 16. Well, we're gonna switch you from the kid star and get you into in the Disney movies, or we're gonna switch you into like the ABC Family bracket. Ooh, that's where you're like Kyle XY and Halloween Nights or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, not knocking Disney or Nickelodeon, because people are people. People are gonna have their own issues. Stuff happens.
But there seems to be a lot of stuff happening just around the Disney childhood.
Yeah, and I think it's what you said. People are just getting overworked, and it's really a juggernaut that they're just going through. And then once they spit you out and, okay, you're kind of aged out, you're done, it's just like, what the hell happened?
Oh, yeah.
It's just been this, fast-paced cycle, and it's just like, what? I finally get to stop?
That's kind of what I'm afraid is going to happen with John Cena. Because everything I hear about John Cena is...
I love John Cena.
I know. Everything I hear is John Cena is nothing but a wonderful human being.
He is!
Did you hear the thing about the Ukraine kid?
Yes, I did. He was like... Well, he was only like an hour and a half flight away, so I hopped on a plane to go meet him.
First of all, this kid, for people who don't know, this kid, they're fleeing Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
And he's like not all there. He's has Down syndrome or something like that. And his parents tell him, we're not fleeing Ukraine because the Russians are invading. We're going to go see John Cena. And he's like, oh yeah, let's go see John Cena. And they flee Ukraine and they're in Poland, and the story gets around and John Cena's like, well, I guess I got to make this kid's dream come true. And he just flies over and meets the kid. Yeah. He didn't send him a card or zoom in. He met the kid. And this wasn't in America. It was in Poland.
Yeah, because that's John Cena. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to just leave an autograph. It's like, if I can fly out and go meet this kid who's already dealt with war in his country.
There's a reason why the man has the world record for Make-A-Wishes.
Oh, yeah.
And he will never be topped.
Has he gotten to the 1,000 mark, or is he still, above 500?
He's above 5, and I want to say he's closing in on 1,000. I know he's smoked everyone else. But that's the thing. I'm afraid because John Cena's life is scheduled beyond belief.
Oh, yeah.
Because of, pro wrestling, and, he does the acting stuff, and he's basically just been on a very strict, uber schedule.
Yeah.
I think you showed me one of those reality TV shows he was on.
What, Total Bellas?
I think so.
I love Total Bellas.
And it's he's borderline autistic about the things in his life. He's everything has to be exactly correct.
Well,
this is the dirty hamster drawer. This is the clean hamper drawer.
He's just very... Maybe anal is the right word, where it's just, okay, I like my things done this way, this way, this way. I mean, good on him. At least he's not a, complete mess where it's just yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, where I'm gonna be. He's like, no, I'm, A through Z, I know everything that is going on in my life, which is nice, but yeah, that wouldn't work for me, because that's just too structured and...
no freeform.
It's I like to have a little bit of, room to breathe, and, if that didn't get done today, alright, no biggie, but it's just
Yeah, but that's the thing. One day, John Cena's gonna retire, or he's gonna get too old to do something, or he's gonna, hurt himself, and it's
hey,
what's gonna happen when Super Cena has to hang up the cape?
Just saying, tonight, John Cena's coming back to Raw. And,
is he?
And they've been speculating he might go in for his 17th time as world champion, so I hope.
Oh,
I hope.
God.
Not that I've watched wrestling in a long time, but
I'm like the same way. I got the WWE Network like fucking 5 years ago, I think.
probably longer than that.
Probably longer, and I was like, oh, sick. I've watched a little bit of wrestling. I like wrestling.
We've gone to live events.
We've gone to live events. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll watch it. And I'm like, I think when Peacock took it over, I think I stopped watching completely.
It was before Peacock, because they really changed the storylines, and it was just
I remember
weird.
I still would watch, like, the pay-per-views, because...
Yeah, you guys would watch them.
For anybody out there, like, if you're gonna watch wrestling, just pick any pay-per-view that sounds cool, and you just watch from there. WrestleMania's a good place to start. WrestleManias are awesome.
TLC.
Oh, no. Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, Royal Rumble's too.
I will fight. The Royal Rumble is the greatest match WWE puts on every year.
It is, but also tables, ladders, and chairs is so much fun.
No, TLC is great. Like, I love the old TLC stuff where you were like, oh, safety regulation. What do you mean? Like, it's fine.
Oh my god, he's dead. He's dead. He's done. Oh shit, he's getting back up. Never mind.
Oh god, I remember watching old ECWs, and it's like, hey, Taz is dead, right? Like, you can't go through that on fire from that height and not be dead, right? And then he would get up and he'd go over to the pinfall. I'm like, what the? You're not supposed to survive these things.
Put the thumbs up. I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Just give me a beer after this. I'm good.
Oh, that was the Sandman. I'm gonna go back and watch wrestling. But back to Pig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how did we get from...
We were talking about Alex Wolff and Disney stars, and we got to John
WWE.
Cena. Life happens. We're going on tangents.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, because Pig is... I think it's a powerhouse performance from Nic Cage, but we should probably tell people what this movie is about.
Yeah, tell them what the movie's about.
Alright, so if you watched the trailer... It is not John Wick with a pig starring Nicolas Cage. That is not the movie.
That's what I assumed. I'm like, we're gonna get this. This is gonna be fucking awesome.
That's what everyone thought.
And then I was like, wow, this is so quiet. It's like watching a silent film.
And it's beautiful.
Well, it's beautiful. I won't knock that. It's a beautiful film, but it's just... I'm like, oh man, Nic Cage is, doing this underground, fight club. It's gonna be awesome. And then he takes the beating. I'm just like... What? I'm like, no John Wick. No Pig.
Where's my John Wick?
Exactly.
But that's the thing. This movie, I think the thing it's most famous for, is that it was one of the biggest bait and switches.
Yeah.
For people, or for movie-going audiences.
And one of the last films before the pandemic, because this came out it was filmed in 2019.
Yeah.
So...
I think it was the last film from this studio, Neon, before everything got shut down.
And this was an issue for the film because they couldn't get too much funding, so they couldn't do a lot of reshoots. It's like everything that they did had to be done the first go.
Yeah, because I know that even the budget for the film was super low, and I think almost every scene in the film is like a one take. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's true. Like 80% of the film or 75% is the first and only take of that sequence. That's why everything is done in one long shot and all these wides.
Which kudos to the actors in this film, because that's incredibly difficult to make sure, okay, we only have, maybe one, maybe two takes that we can do. So you got to be on it. And it's like, Nic Cage, he's got it.
Everything I heard Nic Cage was like, not only like super professional because he's Nick, he's a good, nice guy, Nic Cage, but also he was so in tune with the character, and so he was all about this role. He said since that this is like his favorite role he's ever done. Yeah,
during a press tour for Massive Talent, his latest movie, he said that Pig is his favorite movie that he's done so far.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, like it. I wanted to see it and kind of see why it was, and it's like, okay, I can understand why this is his favorite. He is Nic Cage. He doesn't have to say too much without being a strong presence in the film.
And you feel there's a lot of emotion to it, and there's a lot of, like, him in the role, but back to what it is. The movie, what's it about? So, the movie is about Robin. Robin Feld, who... is this hermit that lives in Portland, like the woods of Portland, Oregon.
He's a truffle hunter.
Yeah, he hunts truffles with his truffle pig, and he sells them to Alex Wolff's character, who takes them and sells them to these high-end restaurants in Portland. And one day, somebody comes and steals Robin's prized truffle pig. And Robin's like, well, I need to go get my pig back. So it's this odyssey of him going through not only the truffle hunting community, but also these, like, high-class restaurants and the underground kind of, like, foodie culture that's in Portland. And through this, we discover that Robin isn't just this weird hermit up in the mountains. He is a former world-renowned chef.
Yeah.
That was, at one point, the greatest chef in Portland. And after his wife died, that's when he retreated into the mountains. And the whole movie is this deconstruction, or I don't even know if it's a deconstruction. It's just, it's a bait and switch. It starts off as you think it's a revenge story, and it ends and you're like, no, it's a reconciliation story.
Yeah.
It's a story of him coming to terms with his wife's death. It's a story of the son coming to terms with the sins of his father, and the father coming to terms with the loss of his wife, and it's a beautiful kind of film, and it talks about people running from their past but terrified of the future that's in front of them, and how Robin chose to just disengage with society and just run his wheels in this kind of purgatory. It's a really deep film, and it looks like it was shot for a ham sandwich budget.
Still beautiful, though.
Oh, it's a beautiful film. Glorious film. Glorious film.
So, I probably know your answer already, but I feel like I have to ask it.
Of course.
Have you ever had truffles before?
No, I actually don't know what truffles are.
Well, they're a part of the mushroom family, so they come in sauces. I mean, you can eat them. They're very expensive. So that's why I've tried it like in hot sauce and aiolis, pasta sauce. Really good. I love mushrooms. I know you're not a mushroom fan.
Not a fan of things that can grow on a bathroom floor mat. Not a fan. Not a fan.
I highly recommend. If you're able to try them, I'd try it.
If I'm ever in the market for some high-end truffles, I will definitely go for it.
You'd be surprised. They're in a lot of sauces. You might enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kind of, like a rich, earthy flavor. It's good.
It tastes like the ground that it came out of.
It tastes like mushrooms.
Weird.
So good.
Also, the food porn in this movie. Oh my god.
I wish we could have had more food shown in the movie.
Oh, because the movie, it's about, like, cooking, and it's about food, and this whole culture of it, and it's kind of like an allegory for stuff that I'm not smart enough to pick out right now, because I'm starting to look at some Taco Bell ads right now. But, the whole thing about this movie is there are some shots in it, like, the climax of the movie where he's making the perfect dinner, right?
And it's like he's making it by candlelight, too.
Yeah, and it's like this duck dish, and it looks, oh my god, like, my mouth was watering.
Yeah,
there's so much
I don't know if it was duck
delicious.
or Cornish game hens, because it was a lot smaller of a bird. But just, with the potato gratin, and
is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Okay, because I low-key, I'm, like, taking notes as I'm watching the movie. I'm like, okay, whatever that potato thing is, I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah, potato anything. But, yeah, I think he was making, like, a potato gratin. And then I wasn't sure what the wine was. It's like, I heard her say it, but...
Whatever it is, it was fancy as shit.
Being held in a mausoleum.
Which, that's another thing. The movie feels like it's about to turn into a John Wick action movie at any moment.
That's what I waited for.
'Cause
I thought we're gonna get the action right now, and I was like, oh no, they're just having dinner.
It's so weird. Like, okay. Did it feel like the movie was teasing you the whole time?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't like it?
Maybe. I don't know. It was a little slow, but then I was just like, okay, now something's gonna happen. I was like, well, no. Now they're just driving. Okay, no. They're sitting at the cafe. Now? No. Oh, there's the credits. Oh, well, okay.
I mean, okay, but the credits are... The scene right before the credits is beautiful, because it's done to this Springsteen song.
Yeah.
And it's like this, like, really, it's this acoustic version, kind of like a folk song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's beautiful. And with the light coming in, Nic Cage looking up, and it's his wife's voice.
That is one thing I'll give this movie. I really enjoyed the music
Mhm.
because it was a lot of classical music.
I love that motif in this movie
Yeah.
because it's not just classical music; it's classical music with the commentary from some like British dude about why the classical music is important.
I mean, they used Lacrimosa by Mozart, so I was just like, fuck yeah, Mozart. I
You
love
just-
this.
You just love Amadeus.
That too, that's a really great movie.
I just watched Amadeus probably a month ago. It was like the first.
A few months ago.
It was like the first time I ever saw it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I see why this won 5 Oscars." But
That
god damn it, the Mozart is a cunt. I wanted to punch Mozart out so bad.
Mozart knew how to have a good time, but it was always getting himself into trouble.
First of all, that laugh. If a motherfucker comes up to me and just does that most obnoxious fucking I'm 4 beers in and I want you to know about my baseball team laugh at me, I'm gonna fucking snap. I'm gonna strangle this person. If Salieri planning Mozart's assassination, completely justified based off of Mozart's laugh.
And again, I have to say, Dean, it's just a movie. Calm down.
No, not a movie. If I go back in time and he laughs like that, it's over. It's over.
Uh-huh. But, I mean, you love that the DVD held such a long movie. It had to be put onto 2 discs.
I love long movies. All right, I bought Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh god, that movie.
It
goes on for days.
It's 4 hours long of the most perfect pieces of cinema you've ever seen. But I got that movie at like Barnes and Noble because it's the only place you can find a copy. And I was like, oh, sick.
Also Amazon, but you didn't want to buy it off Amazon.
I don't want to buy it off Amazon because it only sold like the weird cut of the movie. It didn't have like the right cut, like the
4-hour cut.
The 4-hour cut. It only had like a 2-hour cut, and then it had like the 4 and like 20 cut. And I just wanted the one we watched.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, sick. And I felt I'm like, oh, well, there's only 1 disc in this box. Oh, that's gonna be great. And I go home, I put it in, I'm watching it, I'm like, wait, intermission. What the fuck? Pull it out, and I was like, there's no other disc. I was gypped a disc. I was lied to. Also, I found out that movie 3 discs long.
Yeah.
3 discs long. I was very angry when I was missing 2 discs from my DVD copy of Once Upon a Time in
America.
In America. Yeah.
But that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't check it in.
I thought you can fit 4 hours on 1 disc.
No, it's a lot.
Thought you could. You can. I mean, I guess you can't fit Ben-Hur on 1 disc.
No, it's a set.
Well, yeah, I have my copy of Ben-Hur. It's 2 discs. Well, I'm trying to think, because I remember there used to be VHS tapes that were like 3 tapes long. I think.
Yeah, I mean, Titanic is 2. I think.
And Lawrence of Arabia is 2.
Jaws is 2.
Is Jaws 2?
Yeah, remember we went to, what was it, Midsummer Scream last year?
Yeah.
In Pasadena? We're actually going to Midsummer Scream next month in Long Beach at the actual convention, and I'm so excited. But
yeah, if you see us, come up and talk to us, even though you don't know what we look like. That's the
we
challenge.
could be
That's
anybody.
the challenge for anybody who actually listens to us.
Yes. But, yeah, I bought Jaws last year at Midsummer Scream. It was a 2 discs, it was a 2 tape set.
Isn't like the 1 tape just special features? Isn't that what that is? Because Jaws isn't that long.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it, because that's what I felt too, that Jaws wasn't that long a movie.
Because we saw that in a theater, and I think it was only like 2 hours.
Yeah, so maybe tape 2 is the bonus features, but on a lot of tapes, like my Moulin Rouge tape, that has all the special features.
Wait, Moulin Rouge came out on tape?
Yeah, this was like early 2000s that Moulin Rouge came out.
They were still making tapes in early 2000s?
Yeah, tapes and DVDs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I have the tape because I used to have one of those TVs that had the VCR built into it.
Yeah. The height of classical cinema viewing, yes.
Yeah, so of course, it's like, well, we'll get her the tape because it's too expensive to get her a DVD player. So it's just like, Yeah. So I have to look at Jaws and see what tape 2 is, but I would imagine Once Upon a Time in America would be, I don't know, maybe multiple tapes?
It has to be 2. It might be 3. But I don't know if the 4+ or the 6+ hour cut ever made it to tape kind of thing. It might have only been theatrical, but...
Maybe.
Yeah. But back to our main topic at hand, Pig. So Pig is a great movie. I think Nicolas Cage gives his best performance in years in this film.
Yeah, I think so too. We really kind of tossed up what was going to be the last film of this installment, and I kind of wanted to go Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent because that was his last film at the moment.
Yeah, and we watched that in the theater. We both really enjoyed it.
Maybe we should talk about a little bit of that on this episode too.
I mean, why? We've gone through Disney stars, John Cena. We get through taste. Yeah, let's just talk about
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Massive Talent. So yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage.
Before we talk about that, so you went to go see Pig in the theater.
Yes, I did.
You saw it at the Frida in Santa Ana, right?
Frida Cinema in Santa Ana. It was part of the greatest double bill of all time. So, me and the boys were gonna go out to see Starship Troopers.
Oh, that's right.
And Starship Troopers is awesome. I don't understand why you don't like that movie. Because that movie's a masterpiece.
There's many reasons. If you want to listen to that episode, it's
on here somewhere.
It's somewhere, yeah. We're rounding up to our 100th episode, so it's maybe in the 30s, the 40s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but Starship Troopers, I love that movie. Grew up with that movie. That was my jam. I read the book. I like watching it.
You understood the world.
I understood this world.
And I was just like,
it was great.
Worlds are being destroyed by big bugs shooting stuff out of their ass.
It's so cool. It won an Oscar. But we were going out to see Starship Troopers, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get there before everybody because the new Nic Cage movie is out, Pig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll drive out to go see it and,
just wait.
And I'll just wait, yeah, because I wanted to go see a movie and I wanted to get food beforehand. Yeah. So it's like, all right, watch the movie, get food, then I have like a half hour, then we go see Starship Troopers, and then we drink for the rest of the night. It's going to be great. Have my own double feature. Mm-hmm. So me, my brother, my best friend Greg watch Pig in the theater. And it's like, man, this movie is like, it's going to be a John Wick style fucking action movie. We're going to just cha-cha-cha. It's going to be great. And then at the end of it, my brother is in tears. My buddy Greg has no words. He just gets up quietly, nods his head and leaves. And I'm there like consoling my brother who is like, dang, oh, I got to be the last one to leave right now, okay? I don't want anybody to see my tears. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no worries, Randy. We're cool. We're cool. Give him a little hug. Wait for him to come out.
And I remember getting that text, dude, Randy's in tears right now. And I'm like, what happened? Did you guys get jumped? He's like, no, Pig just tore him apart. And I was just like, oh, okay. So, I'm like, okay, this movie's going to make me cry. I was like, they're going to kill the pig and I'm going to be distraught. Well, I mean, the pig dies, but we don't see anything. I thought, they're going to show the pig being killed and, him reacting to it. But I was just like...
but when he reacts when he finds out the pig's dead, though, that tears your soul in half.
Yeah, it's sad, but I mean, it wasn't enough to get me to, burst into tears or anything.
Get that well up
No, nothing.
Really?
No, I mean, I lost my dog in 2020. We're coming up on 2 years. Uh-huh. I've had that dog for 16 years. I was absolutely gutted when he passed away. And that's why I thought that's going to tap into this.
As soon as a pet goes, you're just like, it's over, can't do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anything with an animal or a pet in a movie, I'm like, don't you fucking go near that animal. Don't do anything.
Have you been on doesthedogdie.net?
No, of course not.
Well, here's what it is. It's this website. I think that's what it's called. It's like, does the dog die? ? Something or whatever.
So you could look up these movies and see ahead of time.
You literally look up and it's just a catalog and a search engine for does a dog die in this movie or does an animal die in this movie, just so you can avoid it.
No,
I think the thumbnail is just I Am Legend.
Oh god, that was such a hard scene to watch. I probably cried. Because I saw that in the theater.
Fucking everybody did.
Yeah, so it's like...
That movie was not very good, but that scene, that's tore people's soul in half.
Yeah, that was gut-wrenching. And it's like, yeah, seeing him collapse when he finds out that his pig is dead. It's like, yeah, I could totally empathize, understand that. I mean, even throughout the movie, his drive to find her. It's like, I'd be the same, with Binks. If she were to get loose and she was just out there in the world, or someone stole her, absolutely, I'd be out there with a vengeance trying to get my cat. Vengeance, just like Batman, I'd be going nuts,
Not
vengeance.
everything is about Batman.
It all circles back to Batman. But, it's like, yeah, I could totally understand that, yes, he used her for work, but that's what he tells, I don't even know what Alex Wolff's character in the movie's called. We're just gonna keep calling him Alex Wolff.
Yeah, so Alex Wolff.
When he tells him
actor
that...
extraordinaire.
He tells him that it's not even about the pig, it's really the trees that tell you where the truffles are. It's just, this has probably been the only living thing that he's been close to since his wife passed. So to have this surrogate family member just be gone and dead, yeah, totally gutted and devastated. I'd be the same way if Binks was gone.
For Robin in the movie, it's him reliving the loss of his wife. And I think that's why the movie's so poignant at the end. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably why it got to Randy, and it got to me too. Where the whole movie is just about loss and the feelings of it and accepting it and all this other stuff. Yeah. I think it's a very poignant movie. Yeah, if this movie got you a little bit, I think this movie can get just about anybody. All right,
it didn't. It didn't get me. I mean, you put on the ending of E.T., that'll get me every time. Eyes could be dry as soon as that starts to play. I'm gone. You could
walk in right before the scene starts, you don't know what's going on, and you see it starting. You're like, oh god, no,
mm-hmm.
No, E.T., please survive.
Definitely. I mean, but it's just I can empathize. I've lost people, I've lost pets too, and it's just no, it didn't get a reaction out of me like that. But meanwhile, Dean and Randy were hugging it up at the Frida, just bawling their eyes out.
We were not bawling our eyes out. Randy got the one tear going, right?
Right. That's not what you said.
Okay, I might have said he was crying like a little bitch. That might have been in the text.
That is on the text, yeah.
But, Randy, it got to him, and I was like, oh, yeah, it got to me too. I'm like, the movie I thought was just, wow, this is way heavier than the John Wick pig movie I thought I was gonna see.
Yeah, that's what I expected. That this was gonna be a deep but action, suspense. I thought it was gonna kind of be up there with Mandy.
Yeah, and we watched Mandy, and that's the only episode we've ever scrapped on the
we're gonna do that for another time. I think at the time we couldn't really articulate what we saw, even though you had seen the movie a bunch of times, and that was my first time seeing it.
Because I've seen it a bunch of times. That was your first time seeing it, and I think I remember the words you told me was, Dean, I don't know what I watched, but it was pretty. I don't know what I watched.
It was a beautiful movie. It's I love the color palette of that movie. And of course, the iconic scene, which is another Nic Cage
memes.
Nic Cage memes gif of him in the car, just
the crazy grin.
The crazy grin. It's so it's I love that. But Pig was good, but it wasn't my bag. And I know you love it. Hold it up there.
It's one of those it's definitely an art house kind of movie. Yeah. It's one of these movies where it's I can definitely see why not everyone would like it, but I think it is probably Nic Cage's best performance. I mean, it's between this and Leaving Las Vegas. I think those two are probably his best performances. Those are career all-time performances, at least from the stuff I've seen.
Not even Massive Talent?
Well, okay, Massive Talent was a glorious film.
Where he played himself young twice?
Yes, he got to play Nicky Cage, and then he got to play Nic Cage. And it is...
And Nic Cage from Con Air, where I brought you this bunny.
Okay, so, for anybody who hasn't seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, please go and see it.
Yes.
It is a bunch of fun. It's Nic Cage, Pedro Pascal, right?
Yes.
And I never realized Pedro Pascal was funny.
Oh, he's hilarious.
I didn't know, because I've seen him in, like, as the Viper in Game of Thrones. And it's like, oh, he's, like, playing, like, suave, swashbuckling badass. Okay, cool. Or, like, he's in, like, The Mandalorian.
Which you didn't even get through a single episode.
Oh, no. I got through the first episode. I got through the 1.5 episodes of The Mandalorian before I checked out.
And you're like, I just can't do it, boo, but you better sit and watch all of Cowboy Bebop, or else I won't speak to you ever again.
I never said that, and you should watch Cowboy Bebop. The anime, the Netflix series is garbage. Watch the anime.
I watched 10 episodes, and 5 of those were subbed.
And I'm very proud of you. You should also watch the dub of Cowboy Bebop, everyone. It is the superior version.
No, watch The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian kicks serious ass.
It just comes down to my thing where Star Wars has been so soured for me.
Which is why you need to keep watching it, because this is true Star Wars.
Well, that's my thing. Like, my true Star Wars is literally just A New Hope. Like, I don't think any of the other films in the Star Wars canon are as good as A New Hope. But that, again, just me. I understand. I'm in the minority.
You're the pain in the ass. We know.
Yes, of course. Know. Yeah,
But go on, continue.
Well, because I never thought Pedro Pascal, comedic actor, it just didn't cross my mind. And I see him in this, and I'm like, dude, can I just get another, like, a Nic Cage, Pedro Pascal buddy cop movie?
Or can we just hang out with the two of you?
Can you guys just have, like, a series of movie where it's just you two just trying to do whatever? Can I just get a family sitcom where it's Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage trying to make, like, a small acting studio work? Wait, hold that. I'm gonna delete that. I need to give Netflix a call. All right,
okay.
We need to get that happening. But, like, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is super fun, super funny.
It was also
a really great movie.
It was also surreal to be in a theater, and I mean, the theater was pretty loaded with people. It was. I think we saw it opening weekend.
I think so, yeah.
So I
think we're in that opening weekend crowd.
So,
because we were out in Burbank or something, and it was playing.
We went to go see it in the Grove.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure what the turnout was going to be, but I mean, almost every seat was taken. But I think what was the most surreal part was everybody was laughing.
Yeah.
It's not like, like a couple of people here and there. I was like, no, the entire theater was laughing. And I was like, wow, this is a great, funny movie, and it's not just funny to me.
Well, here's the thing. When was the last time you saw a comedy in the theater? Like straight up, just like you went and you knew it was a comedy, it was sold to you as a comedy, you're gonna show up and you're gonna watch a comedy film in a movie theater.
I honestly don't remember.
See? Like, I can't even recall the last comedy I saw in the theater. Not only that, the last good comedy I saw in the theater. I mean,
the only comedy that I could think of that we might have gone and seen, and this is a long time ago, but it's not a straight comedy because it's mixed with, like, action and stuff, is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And it's a Marvel movie.
That's a superhero movie, and all of the Marvel movies are this weird blend of, like, comedy action films.
And that's why I said, it's not just comedy, it's mixed with so many other things. And this movie was, like, an action comedy because there's a lot of action that happens in this movie.
Oh, yeah, but it is selling itself as being a comedy. Like, the action is meant to serve the purpose of it being funny, where...
I mean, just the part where they're high, and they think that they're being tailed, and Nick tells Pedro Pascal, he's like, just, look, to throw the guys off, just laugh, and they'll think that we're having a conversation, and he starts laughing, and he's looking at them, making eye contact, and just laughing for like a minute straight.
I swear to God.
We were dying.
I almost pissed myself. I laughed so goddamn hard. Oh my God.
Such a good movie.
That was a really, really, really good movie. And that's like the thing. Like, Nic Cage does Pig 2019, right?
Yeah.
Releases in 2021. There was Oscar buzz for him being like, hey, this might be his return. Like, he might get nominated.
Oscar number 2.
Yeah, and people are like, he might get nominated. Like, this is a really good performance. I think in all the betting pools, because I watched those Oscar betting pools because I'm a degenerate gambler.
Well, I mean,
and he wasn't that much of a dark horse. Like, he was like, out of like the top 10 people, he was like probably number like 13. Where they're like, he could sneak in.
And
like, he could get a nom.
We're also the kind of people where once they do like the brackets, the Academy does, like, okay, this is every category, and these are the people that...
And you gotta put your bets on the picks and who's gonna win.
Yeah, we print them out, and we sit there, and we fill them out, and we see, who could pick, this, and that. I don't remember 2021's lineup of movies.
I just remember I won Best Picture that year. Not me, obviously. But
yes.
I won that pick.
That pick, yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember everybody was surprised that he wasn't nominated for Best Actor.
Because I think he won a Golden Globe or a Critics' Choice Award. He won
something.
He won an Independent Spirit Awards. He won other acting awards. But he does this. He does Pig, and then he goes and he does Massive Talent, which, in all honesty, is like, oh, this is like a kind of just like a career touchdown dance. Like, this is kind of like any other year, this would have been like a direct-to-video or a direct-to-DVD movie.
I don't think this could have been a direct-to-DVD movie, because this movie this movie is so good. It deserved all the attention that it got.
I understand it deserves all the attention, but if it wasn't like I think it got the benefit from COVID years, right? Where it's like, as soon as the COVID stuff lifted, everyone wanted to go to the theater. They stopped caring what was in there, just they needed to be in a movie theater.
Yeah, but
it got that. I know it got that spike.
It got the spike, but this is also a really, really good movie, and the marketing team was so good on this. I mean, having the busts of his head that were
all like tie-dyed and weird looking.
Yeah, I mean, having them in like major cities and different locations with artists, okay, go to town, and then people could see it on Instagram, oh, cool, this is in Chicago, and that's how this one looks. We got to see ours at the Grove, which was cool. And then partnering up with Umami Burger for the Massive Talent special that came with the Nic Cage pillow that we were ready to drive around to, and we just couldn't get the pillow.
Yeah, I know.
The pillow sold out like the first day.
Oh, it was, I think we asked them, they were like, oh, they sent us like a case of them, and they were gone in the first like 15 minutes. It was something ridiculous like that. But
luckily, the guy that was helping us out there at Umami Burger, it was also our first visit. And I mean, those burgers were amazing. I think it's a really good burger. But he's like, we have the promotional burger boxes. He's like, would you want some of those? We're like, hell yeah, we do. But it's very smart marketing. And I think that's also why the movie worked really well, because it was just out there everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's the range of Cage, you know? I know this is our Pig episode, and we've talked about a lot of things, and we talked about Massive Talent, but the range of Cage is what the whole month is, because in Pig, that's like an Oscar bid, ultra dramatic, super like low budget, independent like
art film.
And then he does Massive Talent, which you could only Nicolas Cage, a movie star, could make a movie like that, where it's just encompassing his entire career and just making not only a mockery of it, but enjoying the laugh that everyone's having at his expense.
Yeah.
And just playing into it. Like, it's this whole thing where he's able to play ultra drama and ultra comedy, and he's able to play all this stuff in between.
Yeah.
Like, with all the things we've seen so far, we've seen him as this, like, romantic lead. We've seen him as an action star. We've seen him as an Oscar winner. We've seen him as, like, a kid-friendly action hero. We've seen him as, like, this sort of, like, revitalized, like, elder statesman actor. And I really do think, like, Nic Cage is probably in contention of one of the greatest actors of this century.
Absolutely.
And,
phenomenal actor, phenomenal person. Just, it's very hard to find somebody that doesn't like Nic Cage or a Nic Cage movie. It seems like we're all in the same boat. That we don't have to like the same movie, but it's like, oh yeah, I love Nic Cage. Or when I think of Nic Cage, I think of this old movie, or do you remember him in this? It's always good things about Nic Cage.
But, boo, that is going to bring us to an end of our Nic Cage month.
Will you be okay?
I think I will, but I have to ask you. The favorite Nic Cage film that we have seen. Maybe his favorite performance. Maybe the movie that connected with you the most. Which one of the Nic Cage movies is your Nic Cage movie?
I'm kind of torn, because I want to say Moonstruck.
Of course.
Because that one's been with me forever. And I mean, just Ronnie in that movie is amazing because he's just so...
Where he starts pointing at his wooden hand.
I cut off my hand! I'm a wolf! But it's like, yeah, I love that. But I'm torn between Moonstruck and Con Air.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
Con Air is so good. You know, just explosions and Nic Cage like, okay, I'm in my wife beater. I got this. I'm good. I'm getting the bunny to my daughter.
That is probably primo cheesy Nic Cage right there.
And we have the meme of, his hair blowing in the wind.
He's like, freedom.
But what about you? What was your...
Oh, well, it has to be the first Nic Cage movie we've watched.
Moonstruck?
Vampire's Kiss.
Of this month. Come on. Don't be cheating.
That was a pretty good one, though. It counts.
Yes, but, that was a great movie.
But no, out of this whole month, I think Moonstruck was a lot of fun. It surprised the hell out of me. I think Pig is, again, probably his best performance. National Treasure. It just felt so good to watch a movie from my childhood that wasn't shit on a rewatch.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm happy that movie held up. Con Air was... a transcendent experience. I needed Con Air in my life so many years ago, and I will never let it leave my life now.
Exactly.
But it is the most depressing one, and
God,
it is the hardest one. Leaving Las Vegas, it's one of those movies where since we watched it, I can't get it out of my head, and I know, it's your least favorite one.
I'm never watching it ever again, because it's like, I don't want to see Nic Cage die. It's too...
it's hard.
It's too brutal. I can't do it.
But that's the thing. That movie is hard, and it is rough, but it is beautiful. It is so human, and I know, it is a horrible world to get lost in, but I got lost in it.
You did, and you love this kind of punishment of just, oh, my soul... But I love it so much.
I like movies that get to you, I like movies where when you're done watching the movie, you like feel it. You feel like, oh, well, that movie kind of did a number on me on that one. Jesus.
Oh,
man. Don't get me wrong. I don't think movies should be endurance competitions where it's like, man, this movie is fucking hard to watch and I hate it. It's like, no, this movie is hard to watch and I love it. Where it's just like, you're fighting through the pain. Like that kind of stuff. It's, that's some good shit. But yeah, if I had my free range, Vampire's Kiss is a masterpiece and and should be on the Mount Rushmore of greatest performances of all time.
It's really such a good movie.
It really is. But yeah, so that is the end of our Nic Cage month, of the Cage-assance, of the Rage Cage.
We salute you, Nic Cage.
But next month.
Next month, that's right, we're starting with a new theme, and we're also jumping into July, so we're in the middle of summer. And what better way to celebrate the summer than the summer blockbusters?
Yes, this was your pick. You helmed the entire lineup. I don't really know what we're going to watch, so I'm kind of excited. What's the first movie on the docket?
Well, no spoilers, but there's a couple of films that I haven't seen. I think you've seen every movie coming next month.
Okay.
But next week, we're going to be taking a trip to a place I love, Amity Island.
Oh.
So we're going to be watching Jaws, one of my all-time favorite movies. I've been waiting to review this movie on the channel. I'm so hyped.
All right, I'm excited. Like this, I think the last time I saw Jaws was in the theater with you.
Yeah.
And goddamn, Spielberg can make a good picture. He knows how to make a good picture.
Not only can he make a good picture, this movie celebrated its 47th anniversary last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is one of the first blockbusters. I know you're going to give your rundown about the true first blockbuster.
Yes, I know.
But, it's 47 years old. We saw this a few years ago. Maybe we saw it for the 45th anniversary.
I think that's what it was. It was the 45th anniversary.
And, to have it out in the world for 45 years... And the fact that we saw it on the big screen and people were still screaming and reacting because they hadn't seen the movie before was amazing. Because you hear it in interviews about, how people that made the film sat in the theater and they're like, oh my god, people are actually physically reacting to the film.
Especially because they thought the movie was gonna bomb.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg thought, I've just made the worst decision of my entire career by making this movie. And it pretty much made his career.
It made his career. It started the trend of the summer blockbuster. It really opened different channels for movie making as we know today.
It also has this whole other impact on film history because with the rise of the summer blockbuster, it kind of killed the auteur Hollywood new wave.
Mm-hmm.
And like Spielberg is that double-edged sword of being, oh, he's this big crowd-pleasing director, but he's also the anti-auteur kind of thing, because it's like he just works with this really weird mishmash of like genre convention and like in like these mass market pop culture influences and stuff like that. And it's going to be interesting to traverse the blockbuster month.
Yeah, so this is going to be a hefty episode, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about Jaws soon. But if you want to listen to us on a different platform, you can find us on Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube. Go there, leave a comment, like it, subscribe it, do whatever you want there. It's fun.
And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram at The Film Club Podcast, where we post trivia, stories, random movie stuff, filming locations. Give us a follow.
And with that,
we'll see you next week at the Film Club.